Well, welcome to another edition of Level Up Your Wellness. Today's topic is stress less. And as I was preparing this topic, it really occurred to me that we just need to go ahead and build on last week's, which was Supercharge Your Vitality, which ended up being really more about emotional wellness, I think, than even physical, because when your emotions aren't really in a good place, then your physical self feels low as well. So just like we did last week, I'm going to go ahead and share, do a screen share with a little PowerPoint because I think it helps me stay on track. So let's pretend that I am super tech savvy and we'll get started. All right. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Oh my Lord. There we go. I did it. Yay. Okay, so stress less, level up your wellness. We are continuing on a level up your wellness discussion for December. We may go ahead and take this into January, just depending on topics that come to mind. But for today, I thought let's talk about stress less. And before I get started, when I came home today from my outings, I thought, well, what a perfect day for me to chat about this. I spent 2 hours driving not all over North Texas, just within a 20 mile span for a couple hours so that my son could get a passport to go overseas next year. And all of that, I don't know. I just thought, well, this is really fun because it's giving me an opportunity to practice what I preach. So with that, let's go ahead and chat about first things first. Remember from last week to breathe, and also remember the benefits that breathing offers. So if you weren't in our session last week, we did talk at, I would say, a great length about breathing and the importance of it. Here's the thing. Most of us don't breathe. I guarantee you right now, when you just heard me say that, you let out a big sigh because your subconscious mind was like, yes, remember, breathe. And so many times when we forget to breathe, we hold it, right? And it's up in our chest. And our belly needs to expand and get that breath so that we can take nice deep breaths. But unfortunately, it comes from our chest, and we don't want that. We want to take time to deep belly breathe. Here's the benefits, though. Think about it. When we breathe deep, it lowers your blood pressure, can alleviate. Wow, that's a real interesting word. You can totally use that. It can relieve pain or alleviate. Put the two together, you get relievate. I wonder if Shakespeare would be proud of me right now. Anyway, it increases your energy. It stimulates your lymphatic system. It improves digestion, lowers your heart rate, and activates the parasympathetic nervous system. When I say to breathe, remember to breathe. What I mean is this. You start from your belly. I don't know that y'all can see me, so let me stop sharing for just a minute. And let's go to breathing. You can put your hands on your belly. You can't see my stomach right, or my hands right now, but they're here right on my stomach. And when we do intentional breathing, we close down our eyes just for a few minutes. Now, if you're in the car, don't do that, obviously. But even when you're in the car and doing intentional breathing, you can place one hand on your stomach and one hand on the wheel. We obviously don't tell our kids to do this when they're learning to drive, but we can, right? We're grown-ups, been driving for decades. And you take a moment. If you can close down your eyes, that's ideal. If not, then just soften your face, soften your shoulders, and let your stomach fill with air, right? So that you can push out your hands. And you inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Inhale, I like to say the breath of God. Inhale his life-giving breath into your lungs, into your belly, into your everything, right? We can even breathe into spaces where there's pain, whether it's emotional or physical pain. And then what I like to picture when I'm doing that is I grab whatever physical thing is hurting or emotional thing, and then I exhale it out. There's so much power in your thoughts. And we're going to talk more about that in January. So just be aware that we'll talk more about how we can really change our life with our thoughts and our words. We'll dive into it a little bit tonight. But when we think about grabbing onto that pain, whatever it is, nuisance pain, emotional pain, physical, then we blow it out. Okay. So when we talk about breathing, that's what I mean. And I really encourage you guys to get going on that. All right, let's go back. And we'll do this. We'll do it all over again. All right. Next one is to watch your mouth. And this is the thing that I would love to emphasize, invite you to think about a little bit deeper, especially as you think about stressing less. We create our reality with our words. And most of you all know, and I know not everybody in here believes the same that I do, but I believe that God created the world with his mouth. He spoke, light came. He spoke, the worlds were formed. He spoke, man was formed. He did not create anything with his hands. We're created in God's image. We create with our words. The sooner you can get that in your mind and in your very being and teach it to your children and your spouses, partners, everybody around you, that your mouth has the capacity and the power to create really incredible things or really destructive things, your stress levels will plummet if you choose to use your mouth and your words appropriately. So I've given you a few statements to avoid. These are just some things that are top of mind since I was a hairdresser forever. And now as a coach, I hear what people say. And I heard what people said for 25 years behind the hair chair. I'm always so busy. There's always so much to do. I have no choice, right? And these are just, if you do English, these are dependent clauses, most of them, because they end up finishing with something else even more negative. I have no choice. I have to do blah, blah, blah. I hate, fill in the blank. This makes me mad, angry, irritated, and you can fill in the blank after that. And you probably have your own negative things that you've said or you heard. And, we don't really want to dwell on that because that produces a negative frequency. My point in sharing this is just to see a contrast, right? Where we can choose other statements like these other ones. I choose my schedule. If I say I choose my schedule, all of a sudden the responsibility is back on me. I can't blame my children. I couldn't blame my husband when he was alive. It was my choice. I choose. We all have the choice to say yes or no. Viktor Frankl, he was a gentleman who was in the concentration camps in World War II, Nazi Germany. And I love one thing, and I repeat this over and over when I teach any types of these classes, is he said, no matter how much they tortured me, no matter what they did to me, they could never get me to think anything I didn't want to think. And I think about that now in our day in 2023, gosh, 80 something years later, right? Or a little bit, I guess, I don't know, whatever, 70 to 80 years later. And I think about the choices that we have, things we think about, things that we even say, our actions. We choose it. We may not be able to choose how somebody else responds to us or things that someone does to us, but we can choose our response to them. Another statement I really enjoy is I release obligations. We're in the holiday season, whether you celebrate Hanukkah or Christmas or both, Kwanzaa, whatever it is that you celebrate in this time, there always comes with obligations, whether it's spoken or just sort of societal, cultural, whatever your culture is. A way to stress less is to release obligations. I am blessed. Somebody asks you, how are you? I'm blessed. When you say that, it may stop someone in their tracks or it may cause them to say, you know what, I'm blessed too. I'm at peace is another one that I love saying. When I was in traffic today, we have a road here in North Dallas. If you're not familiar, this road that is always under construction. I think it's been under construction for the 20 plus years that I have been in and out of Texas. And as I felt just rather tired of sitting in my car, I kept thinking, I'm blessed. I have this nice cushy car. I'm with my son and I'm at peace. And as we say those things out loud and even in our mind, right? Our thoughts are things, just like our words are things. There's this settled feeling that comes over us. So if you do something with me for a moment, and even if you're in a space where you can say something out loud, even just think these different thoughts right now, do a little experiment. Think or say the phrase, I am always so busy, or there's always so much to do. And notice how your chest feels. How do your shoulders feel? What about your hands, your eyes, your face? Just really do a body scan and think, what's happening here? Then choose words like, I am blessed. I'm at peace. Now, how do you feel? Even as I said those to you all right now, I could just feel my jaw soften. It's weird. I know I don't feel this way. I'm always so busy. But even just saying it, the frequency, the vibration is much lower than saying, I'm at peace. The other thing that I want to share with you all, for especially this time, is establishing strong boundaries. Strong boundaries establish what is right for you and what is not, whether it's your family, your partners, your business partner, or friends. It's so important that we protect our energy and our well-being. Boundaries, it's funny. When I say this and share with a one-on-one coaching situation, or even just in a group setting, I see people bristle and they might push back. Well, Jen, you don't know my husband, or you don't know my wife or my children or their needs and this and that. And I understand that. Believe me when I say, most of you know my situation. And I'm very aware of needs of other people. But we have all been on an airplane at least once, and they always say, put your mask on before the one who needs help next to you. Otherwise, you're not able to help anybody. I love, my daughter proved my point. My daughter, some of you know, she's an EMT now, and in her training, what they said is take care of yourself first. In a crisis situation, in a trauma situation, whatever that looks like. I can give you dozens of examples. But they emphasized over and over, have boundaries for yourself, because if you are sick, injured, traumatized, or whatever, now there's two people who need help. Right. And here's my little soapbox for a moment. If we don't establish strong boundaries where we're able to say, no, that's not right for me, or yes, this is right for me, no matter how uncomfortable that might feel, if we're not able to do that, at some point, we end up becoming the one who is in need, physically, emotionally, or both. And so if you can start now in establishing strong boundaries, and even if you are someone who says, I don't even know what that looks like, listen, I am so happy to have a conversation with you just to kind of walk through some ideas that may work for you. Just like in last week, I remember I shared something and I thought, gosh, I could, for the 20 or 30 people who will watch this, there's 20 or 30 different ways to establish strong boundaries. So sometimes having a one-on-one conversation just to banter and ask really pointed questions is helpful. But think about a way that maybe if you don't have boundaries, is that causing some stress, or could it cause stress down the road? Is your phone always, are you always available by phone, I should say? Are you quick to text back? Are you quick to return that phone call? If you want to, wonderful. But if it starts to feel like, again, an obligation, well, we release obligations and we create good boundaries. Here's 3 things that I like to share for anybody who is looking for ways to create boundaries. These are all considerations. Please hear my heart on this. These are just giving you ideas, some tools to have in your back pocket. And I should have said this in the very beginning of our time together, is anything that I share, take what resonates with you, leave what you don't. I mean to just offer a little platter of, hey, these are some things that I've seen work over the years as being an emotion coach, dealing with my own stuff in my own life, and also as a hairdresser, kind of coaching people in the 2 hours that they're sitting in my chair. The first thing is honor. So if you want to write these down, I would encourage you to do so because they're great words to ponder later. Honor, respect, and communicate. If you have children in the home, explaining this idea to them is so powerful. Honor your specific energy levels. Doing that is so key for your emotional wellness, for stressing less, for creating an environment within your body and in your home, because all of us have different energy levels. And that right there, oh gosh, I see so many people literally fall ill because they haven't honored their own energy levels. When we push and push and push past our capacity, right? Our capacity for energy output, when it is maxed out and gone the breaking point, your immune system gets hit. It's the first thing. And because your adrenals get taxed and your immune system can't function as well. So when we're inundated with coughs and colds and icky stuff, whatever that goes around, your body comes under stress physically and emotionally. But if you can sit there, and again, going back to boundaries, and this is why this is a part of it, and ask, all right, how much energy do I have? Am I an introvert? Meaning, do I enjoy more one-on-one, two-on-one conversation? Or am I an extrovert where I gain a lot of energy around a lot of people? Well, we all know that an introvert probably if they have to be with a lot of people, their capacity for energy output is going to be a lot smaller than someone who's an extrovert. There's no right way, wrong way. There's no, well, the extrovert is better, the introvert is better. It is what it is. But honoring it and understanding where you specifically sit is so powerful. And if you have a partner or a spouse, in children even, or anybody that you do life with, having open conversations and saying, if you want the best for me, this is what I can offer. Right? I mean, that just makes sense in any kind of relationship. Respect. When I say respect, so many times people think I mean other people. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the no doubt of the century, right? But really, the lack of respect is a respect for ourselves. Again, going back to boundaries, when our boundary lines get crossed, it's likely, and many times because the person who's been crossed doesn't have the value or the respect for themselves. And many times, I'll speak for myself, when I didn't respect my own boundaries and my own values, it's because I didn't respect me as a person as much as I valued and respected somebody else. In other words, we might call that a people pleaser. That's hard when you're working to stress less, because you're honoring somebody else and what their needs are more than what your needs are. And communicate. This is so key. If we as a culture and a society can learn to grow in our own communication styles and learn and seek to understand one another and how they hear things, oh my word, wars would be stopped. I promise you. When we grow in communication, we can learn to understand our own specific style of communication, and then we can ask others to come up to speed in our own language. I have adult children now. I have two really adult children and one who's rounding adulthood, and then the others are, whatever, mid adult, young adult ages. And we have started a thing where we will say, you know what, this is what I heard you say. And I know this is kind of old school, but it's so valuable to over communicate. And I'll share, really with my kids that we don't have the same communication style. We don't have the same ways where we hear, you know what I'm saying? Like how we hear each other say things, ask for needs. And I just say, I need you to hear me on this point, and this is how I'm hearing you say. Anyway, just an idea to be able to come up to speed on your own language and how you communicate, and then asking them to do the same. So here's some practical stress less tips. That was hard to say really fast, actually. 4 things: have oils on hand, create a high frequency playlist, have a diffuser in your car or office, and drink water. I think I'm going to talk about drinking water probably in every class. The oils that I would suggest having on hand: stress away. Oh my word, it's in the name. White angelica. White angelica is an energetic um, hmm, shield and a boundary. So if you have ever used white angelica, it has a high frequency and it will repel negativity. The next one is lavender. I mean, I'm a fan of old school oils. So you'll see here lavender, peppermint, lemon. These three oils, lavender is soothing for the nervous system. Peppermint wakes up your senses, but it's also very calming. It soothes your stomach. So if you are someone who holds stress and tension in your belly, in your gut area, breathing in peppermint will help to lessen that stress that you're holding in that. It'll gently release the stress out. Lemon is another feel good oil. It opens your senses, it raises your endorphins and your feel good hormones, and it clears the air energetically. Okay, create a high frequency playlist. So, this is something that I don't talk a lot about. You know, we talk about oils, diffusers, drinking water, breathing, yada, yada, but a high frequency playlist. I'm not sure how many of you guys listen to anything other than music. But singing bowls have been shown to have a really high frequency and healing properties to them. So you can look up on YouTube, and just, on the singing bowls, I would get a recommendation. I have one, and right now his name is escaping me, but I can find it and send it to you. But he is a solid guy, nothing weird and whatever woo woo chanty, anything like that. Just total singing bowls, lovely vibrational music. Bees in a hive. Now, this one it may be a little odd, but if you've ever heard bees in a hive, you can go look it up on YouTube and find videos that have that sound. Well, guess what? It's a really high frequency, that sound that the buzzing bees make. It's really cool. So if you're looking for something to raise your frequency and just be listening to, you're in the car, maybe you're doing some work, just these types of things are really good to play throughout your home and your space. Ocean sounds, light jazz, some classical, some real soothing classical music. All of these things are great to create, to have some high frequency going on other than oils. A diffusion in your car or office, this is pretty self-explanatory, but when you do this, breathing in those oils, within 20 seconds, it's in your brain. Within another 20 minutes, it's hit every cell in your body, I think 40 million times, and then it's out. So pumping a diffuser in your car is so key, especially when you're sitting in traffic, if you are driving a lot, just any of that. Having it in your office space, now you're being kind to everyone else. And you don't have to diffuse anything that's offensive, something like peppermint, lemon. Those things are always welcomed in any space, but it helps to calm the nervous system down. And if everybody in your space is feeling that, then everybody is stressing less and you will benefit from that. And the last thing is drink water. I cannot stress this enough, but drinking water is so, oh my word, it's critical to your overall wellness, emotion, physical, spiritual, because a lack of water will immediately throw your body into stress mode because it thinks it's dehydrated. And if it thinks it's dehydrated, it's going to go into dehydration mode, which now it's going to reserve a lot. And it's, again, going to throw it into stress. So make sure you're drinking at minimum half your body weight in ounces of water. So here's a few things for stressing less just this winter. Take 10-minute breaks throughout your day, whether you work from home or out, you're out and about, you work outside the home, you're whatever it is everyone does. I don't know. I only know what I do. Pause for 10 minutes to breathe. Apply your essential oils. Speak life over your body, mind, and spirit. Doing this will create a strong habit of relaxing during times of stress. Seriously, put a timer on your phone. When I first got a smartwatch, I laughed because it had that mind. I don't know if any of you have a smartwatch, but it has something, it's called a mindful setting where I think once an hour, It'll say, take a mindful break. And I thought, what is this? Mind your business. But it was so helpful because it made me stop and breathe. And so I would get up, take 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. You can do 5 minutes if you don't feel like you have 10. I mean, we all use the restroom, so go in the bathroom, apply your oils, just a drop, quietly to yourself if you're with other people, or say it out loud. Speak life over your body, bless your body. Say, I'm thankful for you, legs. Immune system, I'm so thankful for you. I bless you. I bless my lungs. I was coughing last week. And so I was like, I bless my immune system. I bless my lungs. Things like that will cause your body to decrease the cortisol and the stress and increase those amazing, lovely feel good hormones. Think about when somebody prepares for war, right? When the military prepares for war, police, they prepare for really stressful times. They do it in times of peace. So if you're doing this as a daily practice, peacetime. When stress comes, because we live on planet Earth and it will come, you're ready. Create a haven in your home. You probably figured out by now, my big thing is havens. My other big thing is healing. So hence healing havens. And I love to teach other people how to create a haven in their home, no matter what you live with, who you live with, where you live, anybody can create a haven within their home. This is a little space of respite. A haven is basically a shelter. If you study Hebrew, this word is only used in scripture, I think 2 or 3 times, for sure twice yes, 3, 2 different words for it. One is the idea of a seashore, a cove, right? How, if you think about how that's sort of like a shelter from storm, the other is literally a haven, a covering, a protection, that kind of thing. So create a space filled with things that you love, whether it's a little corner in your bedroom and a chair that only you sit at. I mean, these can be, what I'm sharing with you can be done really inexpensively, right? Garage sales, you can do like a resale shop, just a whatever, some little chair, maybe grab one from the dining room that nobody ever sits in and sneak it into a corner in your room. A little rug in your closet, a favorite blanket that you love in your closet, just to sit on and meditate for a few minutes. That's just your space, a little respite, a little haven. If you have the luxury to create your whole house as a haven, man, I say go for it. That is my goal. And I live with 5 other people that don't have that same goal. So I've had to let go of a lot of things, but I have little pockets in the house that I'm like, don't touch that. If I see any of your shoes around, they're going in the garbage type deal, right? This is my spot. Perhaps having a little diffuser sitting next to you in your space. And a place where you can just go and think big thoughts for a few minutes, a place where you can go and feel rested. Always having your favorite tea or beverage on hand. I'm a huge tea drinker. I do love coffee, but I love tea because tea is so soothing. So we always have some chamomile, some peppermint tea. I don't know. We actually have a lot of tea now, but that's just something that I like to have. Maybe for you, it's juice, a kombucha, whatever it is. Get outside for at least 15 minutes a day. I say this knowing I'm speaking to people that would be north of Oklahoma and east of Tennessee, right? This is not always easy, especially if you live in the Northeast. I totally understand. I've been there. But when you can, for at least 15 minutes, getting outside each day helps us to stress less by increasing a much needed vitamin D in our bodies. It improves our sleep patterns and can be extremely rejuvenating to our skin. Just being outside, letting your face hit the sun, if it's there, is so good. And if it's not there, just breathing in that fresh air outside into your lungs. You could take your 10 outside, right? Double duty. You're getting some good life-giving energy outside. If you can put your feet in the ground, some earthing, man, talk about bonus points. The last thing is choose activities that boost your mental health. Instead of Netflix and chill, choose to deal and heal. We will talk a little bit more about that in the coming weeks, but I just want to drop that into your mind and think about some activities that boost your mental health. I think many of us, I'll just raise my hand, got into Netflix and chill in 2020. I have never been so inundated with streaming services as I am right now. And it is real easy to just go, oh, I just need to just decompress and watch a fun show or do something mindless like that. That's not always good for our mental health because now we're watching things that somebody else wants us to think about. And that may not be good for our mental health. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but just really choosing and saying, is this good for me? Something that I've started is doing some light stretching in the evening. Lots of free videos on YouTube for some stretching. If, whatever you're into, that kind of a thing, but stretching helps to release tension in your body. So that might be something you choose. And the last thing, I can't do a class without talking about journaling, but journal the day away. Journal your highs and lows, burning the lows and saving the highs. Make space in your brain for a more positive outlook. Let me look at your faces as I share that. When we journal, actually, let me back up. Journaling, when I say journaling, you might be thinking of a really cute book, sitting down in your favorite spot in your little haven and journaling really big thoughts and writing everything down and going, okay, what do I do with this now? No. When you journal, you can choose to do that. And I love doing that. But I also have, I'll show you this. This is actually my most recent favorite journal is I have a sketch pad and I just journal like I'm writing. I just write. Sometimes I paint in my journal. Sometimes I doodle in my journal. When you are journaling, you're getting thoughts here onto paper. Excuse me. You're brain dumping. And you can choose if you're having a particularly rough day, maybe it's a little busy, maybe it's not your favorite. You can choose to take a piece of your paper and just write everything you think, good, bad, and ugly, and indifferent, and then burn it. Because you just took all that energy that was negative and put it on this source, this paper, and now you're going to burn it and you're getting rid of it. And it's not there anymore. It's not living up here, taking up space, right, for free. It's out and it's gone. You can choose to just write about, a gratitude journal. I'm having the most amazing day. I'm so grateful for this tea I'm drinking. I'm grateful for a class and time to be able to coach people on stressing less. Whatever it is that you want to write that's positive, that's gratitude filled, that's high frequency based, and keep that, go for it. If you want to write down whatever and then just burn it all just because you just need to get your thoughts out, that's your choice. But when I say journal the day away, so helpful to get anything that's in your mind, good, bad, or just random thoughts out, because then you can see what's actually going on in your subconscious mind in black and white. We have 30,000-ish thoughts a day. We only capture about 10% of those. I'm so big on journaling and I have been for years and years and years. I have journaled for now, what am I, 50? I don't know, 30 years at least I've journaled. And it has served me so well because again, and I didn't know this when I started journaling, but it unlocks creativity. It helps get mental blocks out of the way, especially when I use oils and I journal. Oof, that is great because it's a fast track to emotional wellness. And so I encourage you, if you're looking for a really easy, quick, tangible way outside of breathing, outside of movement and drinking water, journaling is such a key piece to creating a haven for your inside your person, for stressing less this time of year or any time of year. It helps you see things for what they are and what they are not. If you have children, I would encourage you to have them. I like to tell my kids it's brain dumping because if I say journal, it makes them think, oh, it's like a school assignment. And then they get a little stressed, like, what do I say? What do I write? Am I going to get graded on it? Are you going to get mad if I misspell things? No. It's just whatever your thoughts are in your head, dump it out on paper, like you're shaking out your backpack, your purse, and cleaning it out. Think of it that way. throw away what you don't want, keep what you do. But journaling is so powerful. I would really encourage you all to begin that if you don't. All right. So this time together was much shorter just because it was building on last week's. And again, if you haven't watched last week's, I encourage you to go back and think about, learn some ways to increase your vitality, supercharge your vitality. We'll talk mostly about emotional health and wellness, but adding on to this piece, stressing less, especially now. I hope that you've gained some tools to have in your back pocket, some things that you can put into practice so that in the coming days and weeks and even months, stepping into 2024, you are armed and ready. The world around you could be falling to pieces, but my goal for you is that you have a little haven right here. And we all know vibrationally that just permeates your space. Everybody has about 6 to 9 feet of an energetic space. Wouldn't it be so cool if we created little havens that had just nothing but peace, shalom and love and all of that just permeating from us? Well, that begins with us choosing to supercharge our vitality and have us have more emotional health and wellness and learning how to stress less. For those of you who are hanging out with me live, if you have any questions that you don't mind being recorded, now would be the time. And for those of you who will be watching later, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch and learn how to stress less. And for you guys who hopped on with me, thank you so much for spending your Thursday evening with me. Just so you know, next Thursday, December 21st, we'll be talking about ancient oils of scripture. I can assure you that class, that time together is going to be my favorite because I'm going to teach a class. Well, I don't know. I hate to say I'm going to teach it. I'm going to share some information that pretty sure you haven't heard in any other ancient oils of scripture class. I guarantee it's going to be all personal experience and how to use those, and really how to take back sacred from something that has turned quite profane. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too.